29th meeting of the Missoula Board of County Commissioners. We begin these meetings with the land acknowledgement. Missoula County acknowledges that this event takes place on the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
There's something of interest in MTPR today.
We have the big fuzzy microphone in front of us. That must mean something. So we have a couple public announcements today before diving into the rest of our agenda. The first, we would like to recognize that just recently we achieved the dubious distinction of here in Missoula County having seen our 100th COVID-19 death. I think this ought to be a palpable reminder that COVID is alive and well, unfortunately still in Missoula County, and that folks should not be letting their guard down. And in fact, if you have not been vaccinated, I would highly encourage you to do so, because the vast majority of folks who are contracting COVID right now are individuals who have not been vaccinated. So with that, we would like to observe a moment of silence in recognition of the 100th death, 100 individual lives with families and stories that stand behind those. Thank you. And this is somewhat impromptu, but DeShane, is there anything that you'd like to speak to relative to COVID in Missoula County?
Is it okay to come up?
Yeah, come on up to the microphone. Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the things you and Cindy shared on the all community council meeting last night might be really great for public at large to hear.
Yeah, so we began this week on Monday with an incidence of COVID per 100,000 people in our population of 10. Tuesday went up to 12, Wednesday went up to 13, today it's gone up to 16. So we are absolutely in a spike. Our best defense, as Commissioner Strohmeyer mentioned, is to make sure that people are getting vaccinated. Our vaccination rates are not where they need to be. We are not at herd immunity. And absent that, taking lessons from last fall, so using masks, sanitizing, socially distancing, hand washing, all of those mitigation efforts are still effective, and we want to see as many people get the vaccine as possible. So our mall clinic site is open 7 days a week, and we accept walk-ins, so anyone can walk in and get a vaccine. And I think that we can never get back those 100 lives that we've lost, but we can honor them by doing our part to try to make sure that as few additional lives as possible are lost.
Thank you, DeShane. And that's DeShane Barnett, who's the director of the Missoula City County Health Department. Commissioner Slotnick.
I just want to ask DeShane a question.
Yeah, come on up.
DeShane, are you surprised at the amount of breakthrough infections, or is that consistent with what you would have expected?
Especially with the Delta variant is here in Montana, it is here in Missoula, and it is a variant that is much more contagious, it's much more transmissible. So when we look at individuals who are fully vaccinated, we're seeing a breakthrough rate of about 4 to 5%, which relates directly back to what the vaccine manufacturers identified in the beginning as the efficacy rates for the vaccine of 95, 96%. So we're not necessarily surprised at the breakthrough, but we need to be prepared for a strain that is now much more transmissible and is even if people are vaccinated, we're finding to be able to continue to spread this, which is why we are asking people to go back to masking, social distancing, etc.
How about instances of hospitalization or really serious illness?
Yes, so we have also seen our hospitalization rate has increased significantly this week. So about a month ago, we were at around 7-8 hospitalizations. And today, I'm sorry, I don't remember what the exact numbers. I think it's 19. I could be wrong. But so our hospitalizations have increased. We've already reached out to the hospitals. St. Pat's has assured us that they are expecting this spike and this surge, and they are ready to respond as needed.
What's the correlation between serious illness and breakthrough infections for those who've been vaccinated?
Those who've been vaccinated do not experience as serious symptoms largely. And so what we see, especially with the Delta variant, if you're not vaccinated, your symptoms are worse and you are more likely to be hospitalized and die. If you are vaccinated, you absolutely can still contract it, but what we see is that your symptoms are mild or you're asymptomatic.
So the short story here is, if you don't want to get really sick, get vaccinated.
Please.
Thanks.
Thank you, DeShane.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What is our vaccination rate in the county right now?
We are at just over 53% of the full population has been vaccinated. 61% of the eligible population has been fully vaccinated.
Thank you, DeShane. Get vaccinated, that's the take home. Next, we have a proclamation. And this is recognizing the 31st anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act.
I was going to say, Dave's done this before, so he has practice.
My mic is acting up, so why don't you go ahead, Paul?
Okay.
Experience it.
Whereas disability is a natural part of the human experience and 12% of the Missoula County population live with one or more disabilities, and whereas 31 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the first comprehensive declaration of civil rights for people with disabilities prohibiting discrimination based solely on one's disability status, became law on July 26, 1990. And whereas the ADA has expanded opportunities for Americans living with disabilities to participate in the mainstream of American life, to enjoy employment opportunities, to purchase goods and services, and to be treated as equal and valued members of society. And whereas Missoula County recognizes that more work is needed to realize the full potential of the ADA to ensure equal access in all areas of life. And whereas Missoula County recognizes that individuals with disabilities are vital to the success of Missoula and remains steadfast in its commitment to principles of equality, the goals of the ADA, and reaffirms its dedication to fully implementing the ADA in all facets of the community. Now, therefore, we, the Missoula County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim July 26, 2020 as a day to commemorate the 31st anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act in Missoula, Montana, and encourage all citizens to keep the promise of the ADA, freedom, inclusion, and the opportunity for children and adults with disabilities, recognition of the hard work and sacrifice of the many disability advocates and policymakers who have worked tirelessly to ensure that people living with disabilities have access to the same rights and opportunities as everyone else, and the dedication to continue work towards a more just, accessible, and inclusive community.
Thank you. And for those of you online or far enough back in the room here who can't read our nameplates out front, I'm Dave Strohmeyer, and I'm flanked on my right, your left, by Commissioner Juanita Vero, and on my left, your right, Commissioner Josh Slotnick. We'll next roll into a standard part of our agenda, and this is public comment on items not on the agenda. So if you picked up an agenda, you'll see that we have 3 items today for public hearings. If there's anything above and beyond that that you'd like to comment on that's within the jurisdiction of the Board of County Commissioners, this would be your opportunity to comment. If you are commenting on either non-agenda items or anything that's on the agenda, please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. When you come up to the podium, hit the button on the microphone that should turn the light green. Please be as succinct as possible. State your name for the record. And with that, is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? And come on up. Mr. Alt.
Good afternoon, County Commissioners. I'm Alan Alt, 307 Whitaker. I'm a candidate for Missoula City Council, Ward 4. And what I'd like to comment about is your resolution number 2021-087, which is the establishing Missoula County's commitment to just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive Missoula County, otherwise known as JEDA. I firmly believe this is not necessary. It's covered in our Constitution. It's covered in our Bill of Rights. And to me, this is just a waste of taxpayer money, and creating a position for somebody to police this, I firmly believe is unnecessary. Like I said, it's covered in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so folks know, that is a draft with a capital D on it, and we are looking at making modifications to that as we speak. And the equity coordinator position, just for point of general information, was created in last fiscal year's budget and has been filled for a good bit of time over the course of this past year.
Comment period open till 5th?
August 5th, yes. So folks can still reach out to us until August 5th, where we'll be taking this up again. Thank you, Mr. Ault. Any other public comment on items not on the agenda? Come on up. Yes, sir.
So my name is Rob Kaler, and I just want to make a comment on the CDC or the health departments about the COVID. My take on it is I believe that there's a virus out there, but I lived through the HIV/AIDS crisis, and we didn't shut the country down. We lost thousands and thousands of people. We're still leaving them today. We didn't wear masks. We didn't shut the country down. We didn't shut businesses down. And how many people have died of alcoholism? How many people have died of diabetes, car wrecks? So people die. I understand that. Viruses happen. So I believe there is a virus out there, but I don't believe that we have to mandate and tell everybody to wear them. I want to hear the statistics on other people dying of other causes that we also have big problems with. And I was really here to comment on the resolution on the SB 087 as well, and the JEDI definitions. So it looks like the definitions that you're trying to put in place is the JEDI definitions. Those are written by 4 people that live out of state. Kathy Manis is the president. She's from Lexington, South Carolina. Vince Williams, he's the mayor of Union City, Georgia. Victoria Woodwards is from Tacoma, Washington. And Joe Biscano is from Los Angeles. They're doing this national council of let's see, the NCL is what they do at the National Council, League of Council. They're out of Washington, D.C. as well. So why are we following their definitions here in Missoula, Montana? They don't even live here. They have nothing to do with our community. So if those are the definitions that we're going by, I just don't understand that. The other thing is as a gay man in Missoula, I'm not a victim. I have every right as everybody else in the country. So I don't believe that we have an equity problem or a discrimination problem. And enough with the letters, the LGBTQ, I can't even keep up with them, and I'm a gay man. So for people to say that I'm a victim or I have a discrimination, I have every right that everybody else has. So this is just asking for problems in Missoula County that we don't have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Additional public comment on items not on the agenda? Mr. King Almighty.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here. The last meeting I was at, I promised a creative work for this city in the county of Missoula, that the river would be beautified beyond what was originally created. And that's still going to happen. Thank you so much for this meeting. I've been going through Broadway Boulevard and other streets, and I've been contacting business leaders and blessing them many times before that they bless me. In other words, monetary gain, my spiritual presence in their lives, other things too. It's true, the Father's kingdom is going to be pronounced in Billings, Montana. But right now, right here in Missoula, I'm getting the kingdom ready through talking to leaders such as yourself. Thank you so much for the time that you've given me right now to be here and to speak my word. I hope to be seeing you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Additional public comment on items not on the agenda. Come on up, sir.
Hi. Hello, my name is Robert Albers. I moved to Missoula around 9 months ago from Boston, and I'm here about this resolution 2021-087. I've never met so many friendly and nice people here in the city being around here. The neighbors are all wonderful and everything else. And I'm kind of perplexed about this resolution. It seems to me it's a bad solution to a non-existent problem. They want to check, we have checks and balances, and if I can echo what the other gentleman said, from what I'm seeing, most people now, if you're going for a job or you're doing anything, I would believe the supervisors and the people in charge are already looking at everything in the background and trying to do the right thing. I don't think we need out-of-state people coming in telling us how to run. I am fully engaged in Missoula, Montana, the whole spirit here, and I just hate to see this turn into another uber-liberal city based on false lies and everything else. And I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel, and thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Albers. Any further public comment on items not on today's agenda? Okay, thank you everyone for that. Seeing none, the next part of our agenda is reciting our current claims list. And this would be claims received as of June 30th, 2021 through July 14th, 2021 by the Commissioner's Office. Claims total $617,946.86. If anyone in the room or online would like to learn more about what each of those claims amounted to, you can go to the electronic version of our agenda, click on that link for current claims, and you can then while away the hours looking at the specific items that constitute that dollar amount. Next, we have 3 public hearings today, all related to the fiscal year 2022 budget. I should say that we ended up rescheduling our preliminary budget hearing, the full-on preliminary budget hearing, until August 11th. Is that correct? So on August 11th, come on back if you're interested in the full preliminary budget for fiscal year 2022 for Missoula County. Today, we are just dealing with these 3 specific items. That is the Seeley Lake Refuge Special District, the Missoula County Fairgrounds Special District, and rural special improvement districts across Missoula County. So with that, I would open up the first public hearing on the Seeley Lake Refuge Special District. And Amanda Henthorn, are you going to walk us through this?
Yes.
Thank you.
So just as a beginning point, we are going to be looking at a variety of different things, and the greatest place to find more information is on our website. We have a special districts webpage that's devoted to all of the information I'll be presenting today and even more, including history on a lot of the districts. The timeline that we've followed for all of these districts is in early May, a group of finance, public works, and parks, trails, and open lands employees met to review the budgets and assessment rates. And then in June, we prepared those budgets. We talked to you about them then. And we prepared notices for all of the ratepayers across the county. Then in July, we sent and published our meeting notices, and we're holding our budget hearing today. You will be asked to adopt these budgets on August 26th at a public meeting at 2 p.m. To specifically go to the Seeley Lake Refuge District, it was originally formed in 1974 to address improper storage, collection, and disposal of refuse in the area. In 2011, due to various changes in Montana law, the district became part of Missoula County Public Works and is overseen by the Board of County Commissioners. The district closely follows boundaries of School District 34, and they accept out-of-district refuse for a fee based on the type of materials. The transfer site itself is located at 1708 Woodworth Road in Seeley Lake, and Republic Services hauls the trash to the Missoula landfill for final disposal from that transfer site. Currently, the district fees are $150 per year for property owners within the district. They're allotted 10 cubic yards of refuse for that amount. And just to give you a little idea of how much that is, one 32-gallon trash bag is 1/8 of a cubic yard, or that's over 2,500 gallons of trash per year. Construction materials, tires, sofas, appliances are all charged separate rates, and that rate has not changed since 2011. For this fiscal year, we're proposing an increase to $180 per year, so an additional $30. Out-of-district fees will increase as well to $4 per 32-gallon bag, or $18 per cubic yard. Other fees for other materials will also all increase slightly, and the full fee schedule with all of those increases listed out is available on the website that I started the presentation with. Fees for this increase would go into effect on tax bills received by residents in the district on October, and on September 1st for specialty items and out-of-district refuse, providing that you approve the budget. The increases for the Seeley Lake Refuse District are driven by 3 factors. There's higher volumes of refuse being delivered to the transfer site, both from inside and outside of the district. And there's also a contractual 4% annual increase for the hauling and transfer services provided by Republic Services. We haven't raised rates to cover that 4% over the last several years because of changes in operations. We've been able to absorb it, and at this point we just no longer are. We're also, should be, soon to be arriving, replacement of equipment that's over 20 years old. In the last year, there was a significant increase in refuse volumes, and that has driven a 14% anticipated and budgeted increase for garbage collection for the district. We used savings from prior years to purchase a new backhoe after significant repairs and breakdowns continued to be necessary to the 20-year-old backhoe, just getting lots more use with lots more refuse. And then it also establishes an equipment replacement fund for future replacements of equipment, fencing, or other items needed. And with that, I would ask if there were any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Before we take any questions from the commission, and we are just opening up the public hearings on these items today. We will not be taking final action. Is there any public comment from folks in the room, in the Sophie Moise room, on the Seeley Lake Sewer District, or excuse me, geez, Seeley Lake Refuse District. We don't want to open this too widely for comment today. Any comments from folks online? And if you are online joining us through Microsoft Teams, please use the raise hand function and we'll call on you in the order in which you raise your hand. Or if you're on the phone, unmute yourself, *6, and we will just take you whenever you kind of butt in. Okay, any questions from the commission right now?
Nope.
Okay.
Or actually, sorry, Amanda, how many years has the 4%? Have we been absorbing the 4%?
It's been in the contract for at least the last 3 years.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll keep that public hearing open. Next, I'll open a public hearing on the Missoula County Fairgrounds Special District. Amanda.
Thank you. Maybe. Let's see if either the mouse or the keyboard will work.
Bear with us, everyone. Slight technical difficulties. There we go.
Batteries in one came alive. The Missoula County Fairgrounds District was established by the board in 2018. The district boundaries are the fairgrounds property in Midtown Missoula. It was created to revitalize the Missoula County Fairgrounds and modernize the property for current and future use while maintaining ties to Missoula County's agricultural heritage. Phase 1 of the fairgrounds renovation is nearing completion, and construction of the Rocky Mountain Gardens and Exploration Center has begun. The fiscal year 22 Fairgrounds District budget has two components. The first component is the Fairgrounds Phase 1 renovation assessment is estimated for fiscal year 22 to be $744,927. The second portion is the new assessment and an increase for the district for fiscal year 22 and is estimated to be $590,975 for the Rocky Mountain Gardens and Exploration Center. Of that amount, $218,512 would be new revenue that would need to be raised. The Weed and Extension Office has been putting away the remainder of $372,463 already as savings over several years to get this project off the ground. So both of those assessments will pay for the debt service for construction bonds that have been or will be issued by the district, and any excess in those assessments based on the debt service in terms of timing of issuing the new bonds for the Rocky Mountain Gardens and Exploration Center would be added to construction funds. If you'd like to find out more about district projects, there's lots of great websites out there and folks that are definitely more of a subject matter at all the changes that will be happening at any of the websites listed in the presentation. And of course, there's an opportunity to visit the fairgrounds and see all the works that's been completed at the free admission Western Montana Fair, August 11th through 15th.
Nice pitch there, Amanda. Yeah, we were all out at the fairgrounds yesterday, and it is truly a remarkable change over what you might have experienced pre-COVID. You've got to get out there. First off, though, is there any public comment on the fiscal year 2022 Missoula County Fairgrounds Special District, either in the Sophie Moise room or online? Okay, seeing none. Questions or comments from the commission?
We see Jerry.
I was going to ask Jerry a question.
Mr. Marks, come on up to the podium, please. Sorry to disturb you.
Thanks,
Hey,
Jerry.
Is the mic on?
It is on.
Okay. Jerry Marks from the Missoula Extension Office and Weed District. Question.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you wouldn't mind highlighting the contributions your office has been able to make through a decade or more of saving money, and also the private fundraising you guys and our partners at the Butterfly House have been able to contribute to this effort.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yes, we've been in the private fundraising for me for quite a while. Within our program, rough numbers, raised about $1.6 million. The Butterfly House, through their foundation, has raised $3 million. And the Conservation District has provided about $250,000. And let's see, who am I missing? Oh, our Healthy Acres, Healthy Communities Foundation, I want to say at this point is about $250,000. So,
Oh, that's great
so
work.
it adds up to about $5.1 million.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes, well, we were dedicated and excited that we could make the improvements for ourselves and as well as for the fairgrounds and for the Missoula community. So,
Thanks, Jerry. Any other comments, questions right now? Any public comment on this item? Okay, this public hearing will remain open. Next, we have a public hearing on rural special improvement districts in Missoula County. Amanda.
Thank you. Just to differentiate between the special districts we've just heard about and rural special improvement districts. Rural special improvement districts are outside the limits of incorporated towns and cities within the county, and they're created by the board via petition from private individuals. And Montana law differentiates the activities that an RSID can do from a special district in some instances.
What's a classic difference?
Water and sewer districts are typically part of RSIDs rather than special districts.
Thanks.
All right, we have 35 street lighting districts, 4 water and sewer maintenance districts that are taken care of by Public Works, 6 park and common area districts, of which Parks, Trails, and Open Lands assist with some of those. And there are 11 debt service districts that are paying off prior infrastructure improvements. For this year, we have one RSID that will be increasing its budget. There's a proposed increase of $66.67 annually per district property in the Sunset West Water Maintenance District. That would bring the total proposed annual assessment per property to $542.22. The assessments in this particular district have not been increased in 2019, 2020, or 2021 fiscal years. However, the water system is aging and requires more repair. In the last kind of calendar year, there was a significant repair completed with a new epoxy paint coating applied to the interior of the water storage tank. This was a relatively expensive project in terms of the size of the district and has depleted their reserves. Public Works has worked to reduce this budget where possible, but the district is still planned to operate at a small loss even with this fee increase. But as possible, expenses will be minimized to limit or eliminate any loss and avoid using the remainder of the small amount of reserved funds while still maintaining safe water service for everyone in the district. None of the other rural special improvement districts' total assessments will increase in fiscal year 2022. RSID assessments have not increased in any of these districts from 2019 forward. Assessments for individual properties may change slightly within the district, just based on the division or merger of properties in the district that are sharing expenses. And budget information for each of those districts is available online.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. This too is a public hearing. Is there any public comment on rural special improvement districts in Missoula County? Either in the Sophie Moise room here at the Missoula County Courthouse or from folks online? Okay, seeing none, this public hearing will remain open. Josh or Juanita, any comments or questions on these RSIDs?
I don't have anything.
No, just to highlight, only one of them will experience an increase in fees, and those that are about $5 a month.
Great. Well, thank you, Amanda. That concludes our public hearing list today. Is there any other business to come before the commission at this time? Seeing none, we will be adjourned. Thank you, everyone.